Thank you so much. That is so beautiful. We are appreciative of all the musicians this morning. And Micah, what a blessing it was to have you share this morning. We appreciate that so much. Myrtle Fillmore said, life is a process of becoming, and we are always in the process of healing and renewing. We have some of these mornings with Myrtle. We handed these out a couple of years ago, and if we've run out of them, we're going to order some more. They're just beautiful, beautiful readings. For instance, one of them is a prayer of love. In this sacred moment, I pause. With gentle purpose, I relax, moving my attention from the thoughts in my head to the place within me where my humanity aligns with my divinity. Isn't that beautiful? I was thinking of these words too a little bit ago when they were singing Surely the Presence, and especially the words where touching the hem of his garment. And it just touched my heart so. And I'm certain that's why the man Jesus came to earth, is so that we would have a vision of what God looks like, what love looks like in human skin. Don't you think? Don't you think that's why he came? Touch the hem of his garment. There's a painting by an Asian painter, and I cannot remember his name, but it is beautiful. And the title is Touching the Hem of His Garment. And it's an ethereal hand that's just barely touching the hem of Jesus' robe as he's walking by. How do we find our inner harbor? I've spoken a little bit about that already this morning, haven't I? And what is our inner harbor? It's a place where we can go. It's a metaphor, of course, for that place of safety, that place where we have self-compassion, self-love, the place where we can go to recover, to rest, to renew before going back out into the world. This woman, and she does so much for so many students, her parishioners, her congregants, her family. And I said to her, I'm sorry I bothered you. Now do me a favor and put your phone on mute. Turn it off, put it away. Anyone with a true emergency is going to know how to reach you. And the only one with a true emergency right now is your family. So turn that phone off. Do yourself a favor. How do we get to a place like that, though, where we need a sabbatical? We all do need it. We need to go away from the world for a while, but I think if we can find a way to go within enough to say no, enough, if we can go into our inner harbor enough and listen to that, I think that we won't find ourselves in a place where we need to crash nearly as often, will we? I know. I've been there, and I know what it feels like. And then you're not proud later that you had a crash and how you handled yourself, but it is what it is, and you hope that you learned something from it. So how do we find that inner harbor? One of the things we need to realize is that part of our spiritual growth is finding those things that rob us of our inner peace. How many people did something this week that you wish you didn't have to do? You wish you'd said no. You wish that weren't part of your life, but you did it anyway. When it comes to your family, that's one thing, but some of the external things we can control. And even when it comes to our family, as Sean so eloquently pointed out this morning, maybe especially that, when our family members are in trouble and we've been there for them for years and years and years. That's how we're going to pray for your friend and her daughter, is how do we care for ourselves in those situations? How do we? We can. We can. We find our inner harbor, our inner strength. And what does it mean to be in sabbatical mode? What if we treated our thoughts, our time, our energy, and our hearts as if they're valuable treasures? They are. Perhaps they're more valuable than diamonds or gold. What if we treated them that way? And they are. Because honestly, you can't do a good job at anything if you're going too many directions. You have too many distractions. You can't be good at your priorities, can you? If we could treat ourselves with patience and kindness and love, all those things, the ways that we would treat others. And you may think that exhaustion is a sign of spirituality, but it's not. It's not a spiritual virtue, folks. Once you get exhausted, you can't use your own spiritual gifts to help others. So it's not actually a virtue. You know, we have, and I have in the bulletin a little bit written about that. I believe that in Philippians it's 4:7, the quieter you become, the more you're able to hear. And the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. Howard Thurman. There must be room in the soul for feast as well as fast. Somehow when we were growing up, we were taught that it's a virtue to wear that old hair shirt, right? Is that one of those things we were supposed to do? And flog ourselves? There must be room in the soul for feast as well as fast. To taste the sweetness of life, that's Mark Nepo. So let joy be as holy as sacrifice. This morning, Alice and I spoke about that just for a moment, is that we hold ourselves to too many sacrifices sometimes, I think, don't we? Nay brought all those beautiful donuts in, and they were so tempting. They were so fresh, and you could just smell them. And I said, okay, well, I'm just going to have one little donut hole, but I'm going to do it because I deserve it and I love it. And you go ahead and have that one, and we're going to ask for a chocolate-covered donut for you next time. So then we talked a moment about extremes, and it works here too, exactly with what I'm talking about right now. Are you a person that goes to extremes? Whether it's fast or famine. Are you into extremes? I would suggest you learn to moderate yourself, whichever way it is that you go. My husband always thinks in big terms, big terms, thinking of houses, Tammy. He's asking me if we should buy this house down on the beach in Waveland that's like 7,000 square feet. Of course, I'm saying no, it's not too big for him, but he's a person of huge extremes, and he's usually going for the largest. So if you're a person of extremes, I invite you to find a moderate position. Whatever it is, whether it's donuts, have a donut, have a cookie, but don't have the whole dozen, okay? Thomas More said, sometimes the soul needs silk, not sackcloth, right? Yeah, treat yourself. And Tolkien, it is no bad thing to celebrate a simple life with a little extravagance now and then. Little silk. Catherine Ponder, the universe does not reward deprivation. Isn't that a good one? I love Catherine Ponder. That's a metaphysical truth, by the way. It aligns perfectly with Unity's prosperity teachings, and that's what she's known for more than any, Catherine Ponder. She was a well-known Unity minister. So that leads me to the next slide. I needn't go to a convent to rest and restore. I can create restorative practices right here and right now where I am. My overall health and well-being are my priority. They're my responsibility. I'm responsible for that. It is a divine responsibility for me to take care of myself. Sacrifice and suffering are not required. My body tells me when I am out of alignment. I pay attention. Does this work for anybody else? You find that you've chosen to do something, next thing you know, you have a pit in your stomach. You say, oh, well, no, I've got a knot in my stomach now thinking about that. Wow, maybe that's something I shouldn't do. Listen. If you're not quiet and go within to your sanctuary often enough, you won't hear the voice of God. You won't hear Spirit if it's trying to talk to you. You won't hear the wind and it wants to say what it wants to say. You won't see that dolphin swimming right along with you saying, all is well, all is well, all is well. My world is peaceful and at ease because I go within enough to my inner sanctuary to be restored. And I hope that if I said one thing this morning that will help you return to your sanctuary, whether you're at work, you need to close your eyes for a moment and touch the face of God, the hem of his garment, whatever it is. In that sacred moment, you can be there. And then after you've been in your sanctuary long enough, as Clarissa Pinkola Estes so beautifully and eloquently said, a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships were made for. Stay rested and restored so that you can go back out into the world and do your work. Thank you for your time.